People behind the scenes of this race meeting. The Rapini family's been involved in motor racing a long, long time. And Murray, I suppose a lot of 9-hours you did here at Kyalami.
7 all in all.
And what do you drive?
I did the first one in 58 with Horse Boyden in the Alfa Romeo Sprint Veloce, the lightweight. And then I drove twice in the Volvos with Horse Boyden and Nigel Payne.
And the circuits weren't as good as they are now, with safety particularly.
Grand Central was a dreadful circuit. In fact, in the third 9-hour, one of the cars, I can't remember if it was the third or the second, the Volvo Sport driven by the Johnson cousins, came off at Devotees, and the car went over, and the safety belts at that stage weren't that good. He was flung out of the car, and the car fell on top of him, and he passed away a couple of days later.
And once you left Grand Central, of course, onto the glorious Kyalami GP
Well, I remember the first day I walked the track. It was in the veld, and the flags were up. And there I was on a Friday evening, and the sun was going down, and I was walking through the veld, following these markers and thinking to myself, wow.
This is it, boy.
Oh, and it was.
And one of the greatest in the world.
One of the finest tracks in the world. The main straight, of course, was the main straight in the world at that stage. Now it's gone. I just hope they don't do the same with this track.
And the standard of driving in 9-hour race in those days?
Oh, it was world class. South Africans have always been world class drivers for some unknown reason. And of course it attracted a lot of attention, you know. In fact, we believe that next year with the 50th, we're going to get a lot of overseas interest here.
And we're looking forward to that as we go on board now with Streepy. That's Capito's car as he goes along behind the Austin Healey, and there's Denzel Bonner from Zimbabwe, and he's certainly pedaling along. Very involved in South African motor racing is Dick Sorensen, competing with his son Richard in the D-Type Jaguar.
Very nice car. We've owned it for a long, long time, and a lot of work's been done on it over the years. And it's had plenty of mileage.
Yeah, it has, but we normally see it at these Classic Day meetings.
Yes, it does come out. It's really the only time it can that it's got a chance to run.
Yeah. And Dick, and to drive it?
Yeah, it's a lovely car to drive. Of course, it's a bit of history, and it doesn't drive like the modern car on slicks. No. It runs on the historical Dunlop racing tyres, and it's that's the way it feels.
And people like to see you do that.
Yeah, they do. They do. They love it.
And the size of that motor?
Size, it's a 3.8 litre Jaguar.
You rev to what?
We run it to about 6,000 RPM, which is pretty high. It's all Cosworth inside. It's got very special connecting rods and stuff. It runs to the European historic Jaguar level of tuning.
Wonderful, eh? I mean, the look of it, it had a famous history at Le Mans too.
Very famous history at Le Mans, yeah, in 57 and before that, and then the C-Type before that. Jaguar is very famous.
That's a production Cosmic D-Type if you ever saw one.
No, I'm not so sure about that. Well, here's a typical 9-hour traffic jam of transport. We've got the Polter Volvo. They were very prominent in those days, driven by some top drivers. Here's the Estes and Brothers in the Alpha. There's the Alan and Stuart Grant Protea, as we say, 50 years of celebration they had recently when they first built that car. There's Massimo Stenga, and that Juliet is still going well. There's a famous name for Alpha. Right, we've got David Piper in the green Ferrari, the winner in 1964, and then there's the other D-Type Jaguar coming through, and here's the Minis having it out with the Alphas they used to do. Mike Knight very involved in the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. Here's Denzel Bonner we spoke about from Zimbabwe. He has pressed on. Here's the Streepy car, famous motor car. Those Alphas were fantastic in their time. Right, and there's the little Protea. That's the Estes, and there's the Stenger and Alan Poulter. I think he's sharing with Norman Poulter there. Then we've got Keith van Heerden, Peachy comes through, Minis, and Jesse Adams is pushing that car along big time, that Cortina GT, and boy were they prominent in their time. Estesen comes in with the Protea. There's a Stengo now coming through and staying with all the others. I mean, that car He's 30-odd years old, Kyalami, man.
This dice went on right all day and all night. These cars were together the whole weekend.
They were.
It was a fantastic dice. And this is what the 9 hours all about. A couple of slightly different cars that wouldn't normally race against each other.
Yeah.
It's a sports and GT car versus the saloons.
Yeah.
And just went on and on and on. They just had such fun all day.
And I think once they get into the cars, they forget about that they're actually historic cars and they start to rev. Once you get in a dice like this, you forget just how old that motor car. That Alpha is going fantastically.
They call that the red mist, Roger.
That is the red mist. Here's David Piper, number 21 in the Ferrari, staying up with all the others. Frank Klinker, that's one of the hottest Cobras around. Coming behind him, there's that looks like Densham coming through. He's very quick in that car. And then Dick Sorensen gets it sideways. No, this is Klinker coming down now. He was the second of the Cobras. There he is. This is Frank's son, Mark. And under threat that he keeps that car in one piece. But Esther isn't coming. That Protea's being well driven there. That's Alan and Grant Stewart. They've been in. That's a Triumph engine Protea. Very good cars. Polter goes on the inside of a Stenga in that Giulietto. Man, I'm very impressed with that Alfa Saloon car. It's right there. Probably a 2-litre one, that. As they come through with another Cortina just by. Now look at this. As you say, it went on all afternoon. These 4 cars having it out.
And deep into the night. It was even closer at night. These guys had a fantastic weekend.
Oh, they did. And they really love it. It's what it's all about. And you fit into a pattern there when you do 9-hour racing. You start to get to know the dices on. Right, here comes the leaders making no mistake this time. It's Tony Martin. They've got pit stops ahead of them. There's the Protea just as fast as ever. Lovely looking little motor car, South African design. And away they go down the straight. Here's Tony Martin now. Coming flat out. They'll be starting to come into the pits very, very shortly. As a 1-hour race, I suppose with Kelly, what you sort of split it 50-50.
50 down the middle. There's also an envelope we try to keep the cars all in the pits at the same time.
Yeah, and it creates quite a lot of excitement. Also quite a traffic jam as you go into the pits. We can see the Keith van Heerden car coming through Stenga and the Julietta, very clean lines, almost timeless. You wouldn't think as that big V8 Ransom car on board with Jesse Adams comes in for his pit stop. Comes in very casually in there behind the Protea. The team, this belongs to the Grants. You listen to hear what they say.
Great.
Oh, there you are. That's all the information you want to know. How's it going? Great. Right, Densham, he's the South African historic champion in that Alpha. That Alpha's done him so proud. And Streepy stands there too. Capita's car. There we got the Polter cars. It could be his brother. I can't recognize that driver again. That's Alan getting into the car now. But of course the Polters have been added a long, long time. And as we said, Leroy Polter, South African production car champion, karting champion of note as well. Klinkert car, no, that's Tony Martin comes through. No, it's the Klinkert car now being lapped there by the Richard Ransom car. And there's Compagnia. He's lying at the moment in third spot as they come down the hill. It's Ransom is in the front. That's the leading car. As he comes past, he'll be on board again with Jesse Adams, who's going to pass him on the inside. Nobody so far as he comes out and uses the correct line. And there it is. Just look at the crux of that. And another one goes through. Man, have they got steam under those bonnets. Exciting motor cars.
The interesting thing on these Cobras, Roger, is that the car essentially in the 1960s had the same spec that we run today in Westbank V8. The car engine's a bit more powerful, the bigger, especially the bigger ones that are used in these cars. But the car basically hasn't changed much. The V8 racing car is still very much the same 40 or 50
5.5 litre, 6 litre, pushing out about 600 horsepower. Can go up to 700. Here's a little Fiat 1500.
1500.
Hey, 1500. Here he comes now. Is he going to get through the corner? No, he's not. Very much like a lot of the Porsche drivers, he has no identification on his car whatsoever.
Gone so fast the stickers have flown off.
As Michael Knight, he comes through and he's losing a couple of places there. That there is the Spans and Bem car. They're out enjoying themselves.
They came up from Cape Town for the weekend as well.
That's wonderful.
Had a fantastic weekend.
Oh, fantastic. We also had other cars come up from the weekend. Was the green Alexander car from Cape Town. There's that Alpha again. Here's the Alpha's coming through, and the Polter car. That's Alan Polter at the controls. It's the Hazens come through. Here they are, the Cape Town boys. Here's another Cape Town car. This is the green Alexander one. Dave Alexander. That was a pig of a car to work on MG twin cam.
That car's actually the twin cam from the old days.
There you go. Well, the flag is out. Henny de Beer got the flag out. Richard Ransom, a very fine win ahead of Tony Martin or Russell Westhuizen as they come down to the line. And you see Ransom, Martin and Westhuizen second, Then Michael Campagna, real enthusiast from Holland, Clive Densham once again in 4th spot. So Richard, wonderful win there for you.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. It was we had to come from the back, and I think if the race was another lap longer or lap shorter, we wouldn't have made it.
It was a great finish. And this car you basically built up just for racing yourself.
Just for racing, yeah. I was in the V8s for a couple of years. Pretty hectic schedule though, and it kept me away from work and away from family and stuff. This is a similar kind of kick, much less pressure. Much
so you're using some of the V8 parts, the West Bank V8 parts in this car?
Correct, yeah. That's actually one of my old GT2 motors. And you can see we've mounted it in such a way that it's very similar to a West Bank setup. It's got a West Bank Jericho gearbox. All M3 drivetrain, though the rest of the stuff is M3, BMW.
Here's the last race on this Rapid Motion Africa program for these historics, the Kyalami 9-hour revival meeting. And 37 cars left out of the 41 that started the day. Still a great lineup. Missing is Uli Sani in that 635 BM, Gerber in the little Chevy, and Terry Allen in the Morgan. They come down. On the left-hand side, 917 Porsche. And going to the front is Karl Pienaar. He's taken the lead. He's the man who built that motor car. Henny Groenewald is sharing the lead with him. And look at this for a lineup as they come through. As we go on board with Mike and Keegan Ward in the Escort, staying right up with Eddie Rue ahead in his Porsche. That he's in fact the chairman of the Porsche Club out enjoying himself at Kyalami. Big crowd came out to see this. You were happy with the crowd, Michaeli?
It was quite good. In the afternoon it got better and better as the day wore on. We were quite happy with the crowd for the first time out, and we believe that in future the event's going to get a lot more popular with the public as well.
Right, and still in the front there is Karl Pienaar. He builds a lot of the West Bank V8 cars. They do a fantastic job with quality. But going to the front, Warren Bricknell's followed by Andre Bezuidenhout. It's Porsche 1, 2 and 3. The Bailey car's gone to 3rd. The Camara has gone into 4th. And you're at the wheel of this one now, Michaeli, are you?
Yep, doing my best.
And in 5th spot there as we come through. And Peter Lindenberg's in there. We haven't seen him during the day. He's in the famous Basil Green Gunston Capri Piranha.
That's a Group 5 Z181 car for which Bobby Althoff won the championship in 1917, and they banned Group 5 after that car. So
a great car, the great history. There's Sean Pierce, that roll cage over his MG, having a great time. Right, a 3-way Porsche does. You don't often see, all from the 70s. As they absolutely go flat out down that hill. There's no lifting off. They get onto the brake. Warren Bricknell is sharing the car with Fiebiger. Here he comes through, and Warren Bricknell's gone to the front. To has he? Andre Bezuidenhout's got a better line. Coming out, gets the better drive as they go up to the front. Here they are, and Bezuidenhout's gone to the front. He's taken the lead. Is he going to make a stick? Because here comes the 917. With those big wings on the back to stop the wheels spinning. Here he goes. Isn't that a beauty? It's really fantastic to see all these cars out at Kyalami. Something like 30-odd years. I mean, it's just wonderful history in front of us here with guys who can really drive out enjoying their motor car. There's no demonstration. This is the real thing. There's that bump at the pits where you take that line into the Cornish and go through faster, and you go down again, then you start to plant to give it welly as you come up there. There's Pantasis and Pierce and Eddie Rue, and here comes Josh Broom. We haven't seen him earlier, and there's a very hot little Escort there. Ian Smith, we've got Fred Koenig. 142 is the Keegan car, so it's a camera car, and there's the Sullivan car not too far behind. Back with the Ward Escort, staying there with Porsches, can you believe? As he goes up, does he lift? No, he doesn't. He goes flat out as they go down here. Line up here, down here, and give it well. He planted. He's got to push. Somewhere he's gone farming in the far side there. Looks like Pantasis for a minute. Oh, and we've got Divoff has gone off. Alex Divoff has gone. And another one. There's Pantasis, in fact. There's 2 lines on his Datsun's bonnet. And this is such a long way for the marshals to run. It's like coming in from the seaside.
A bit of farming going on here, but that's what you got out quite nicely. You must know how to drive a tractor too, because that's difficult to do.
Well, here it comes. He's after his car. Those Siroccas didn't sell in South Africa. They brought them in to come racing. Or if they did, they only sold a few. Porsches 1, 2 and 3, they started to take this race by the throat. And the Chef Camara Karl Pienaar should be there, so should Michele Lupini. As they come down, it's Bezuidenhout and it's Bailey. Peter Bailey makes that beautiful looking 917. Here's the Piranha Capri of Peter Lindenberg sharing with Anthony Corrin. John Grieve is well up there, head of Henny Groenewald. Is it Henny in the car? No, it's Karl Pienaar. And going through the inside, Michele, a nice piece of driving there.
Lots of power. It's easy to do that, Roger.
and getting the tires. And those, what do you got, slicks, normal tires on
We've
your
got
car?
normal, we've got rally slicks, treaded slicks. We've got a bit of a disadvantage there.
Yeah.
Most of the cars around us have got big wide rubber, and it makes a big difference.
Yeah, it does. And we like to see those cars with the treaded tires, to see them going sideways and driven
Gets the
off.
car a bit sideways and active.
Yeah, and active. You're right. It's thrilling to drive.
This car is incredible to drive.
How many gears you got in here?
4-speed.
Yeah.
Good old V8.
And that noise of the exhaust coming out next year. Oh, there's the damage you created in the last race.
Touched a little bit.
Touched a little bit. Is there a big noise inside the motor car you're driving?
It's deafening.
Definitely right. In the meantime, John Grieve, and there's Nicky Dick's unscheduled pit stop. He comes back onto the circuit as you arrive. That car does fly. You look very, very comfortable in there, I must say. Well, Colin Frost went out of that dice. He's coming to the pits. It looks like he's not going to go much further. He's got clutch trouble there.
Clutch. Feels like to be the clutch sheared off. Came into the bus stop and
Well, that's a great pity because that car's certainly well up with the others. He's certainly getting it going very quickly. Right, the Ward car comes through. There's Sean Pearce. There's the Massell car with Mike O'Sullivan. Clive Massell very close to Mike's brother Paddy. Passed away this year. And 83 is Colin Ellison. He's another big alpha man. He's lying 5th overall, by the way, in this race and getting past them all. And he drives very well. He and Densham certainly keep the alpha flag. Well, a lot of others, but they keep it flying right up the front. More MGs. Here's the Peachy car. Then we've got the little TRD Toyota with Nortman. Here he comes, Vessel Nortman. Lovely little car, right? Efficient, Kyalami.
Fantastic little rally, ex-rally championship winning car. That's what the state-of-the-art rally car was in the mid-70s.
It was. There were certainly legends there. Well, Joe Soros, he's got a problem too. He's in the pits in the escort, but having a lot of fun. Right. Kyalami, you're coming in for the handover.
A bit confusing here. Everyone's waving me in a different direction, so the car in front of us starts going. So anyway.
And that's Henny Groenewald going out. And Willie's going to take over from you. And it's not easy to get in and out of these cars with the roll cages.
No, not too easy. There's a big steel bar exactly where you want to sit. So
there's an efficient car. That's the historic car. Does so well, not only for Warren, but also for his father. Vernon is a great motor racer. Has been in karts and single-seaters, doing all sorts of things. Well, that's not what you do at everything you do at your service station. Just pull the bonnet off when you're going to fill up.
So in the interest of weight saving, I think that's what that's all about.
Quite a state-of-the-art filler they got there. Isn't this beautiful coming, the 917?
Considering that this car costs £10 million for someone to buy a real one in overseas, which is 150 million rand, you can buy this for under £1 million from Bailey and have yourself a fantastic-looking motor car.
Oh, as the Piranha goes out, that's the Basil Green Piranha. It's interesting to see those pit stops. There's Rui Campos is getting into that 917. Here comes the boys up front. It's all Porsches at the moment are leading this race. It's John Grieve in the meantime actually has done very well in that magenta coloured Porsche. We'll see him a little bit later. He's actually in fact gone to the front. There's Bezuidenhout and Bailey. Bezuidenhout's flying second. And the Bailey car still going well. Rui Campos is there in 3rd position. He's going very well, having his first outing in this motor car.
Grieve ran the whole race himself, which was an advantage there, and he set up a particular pace and stayed there.
Yeah.
And other cars having all kinds of little problems here and there, and he did a fantastic run through.
Nicky Dix comes on the inside of Everett Buerta. There's number 43. That's a nice looking motor car. All the way up from Cape Town, that's Charles Orton, Clive Cord. It's a lovely example of a BMW. Nicky Dix goes through on the inside. MG's keeping up with them as well as they spread out for the bowl and try and outbreak each other. Same order. No, Dix loses out to Arton and Corda. Really is a beautiful looking BM. I think it was the Auto Atlantic car I think it used to race.
Eddie Kaizen raced one of those very successfully in South Africa.
Oh dear, what happened there?
We pulled it apart and found a push rod fell out and made a lot of trouble underneath.
It's called a leg out of bed. That's terribly expensive.
Not a Conrad.
Not a Conrad. Oh well.
It just damaged everything enough to be replaced. It didn't destroy everything.
Big disappointment. Right, there's the man who's gone to the front, and I think not changing drivers helped him. John Grieve is going to be thrilled if he pulls this off. There's Alex Divav in his Soroka. They're efficient little motor cars. Josh Broom in the very hot escort he's got, and here comes Henny Groenewald now. Driving a Henny, he's right up there. He's lying in 3rd spot now, pushing that car as hard as he can. It's lovely to see him get it sideways. This is what people loved about this race. Oh dear. Looks like, let me hear, he's revving it. He's out of drive. Fresh out of any way to go forward. Half shaft or something's gone there. What a magnificent looking car. Anyway, it's done well. It's lovely to see it out here. R1 million, you can have one of those and it'll be certainly worth it. And here's a big one. Here's Terence Tracy in the Capri. Clobbers Colin Ellison, who goes into the wall as Grieve, the leader, comes through. Terence Tracy's still mobile. That car looks really... Ellison is still in the picture. Comes out in front of the brick little Fubica car. Comes up the road. And in fact, he's lying in fourth spot overall. Fourth or fifth. So he's done well. Here's the Ward Escort. No, he's got a wheel that's way out of line there. So struggling with that car. And Massell, it's Clive Massell driving the car at the moment. And Sean Pearce in amongst them. He's been having a wonderful time in that MG. That's the MGB. And putting his hand up, Clive Massell is slowing down. The Saurus comes past in the Escort. That's a rear-wheel drive Escort. So the beautiful little BMW's out of it. And here goes Fonk. He's just spun his Escort as well. Rear-wheel drive Escort, man. They served rallying. They served racing. They were fast. They had BDA engines. They had the lot. They were great racing cars. Here comes a lovely shot of the Basil Green, Bobby Althoff, Gunson, Capri Piranha. Ford engine, big engine car there with Peter Lindenberg and Tony Corrin. And I think he's having a little bit of a duel there. It was actually Henny Groenewald. He left it very late on the brakes as he came out of the corner. And the lead on his way to the flag. Here he comes. This is it. Couple of corners to go. And John Grieve is going to be absolutely thrilled with this. He's driven as well as a property developer from Johannesburg. He's done so well. And in the meantime, Andre Bazodinot has got Pierce on his tail, who's just passed him into that corner. There's another power of that car. Big flat sound of a Porsche. There's the little MG. He's going very well. Right, here's the winner. John Grieve has done it ahead of this whole field. It's all been tactics. It's a 1 hour race is over. And these cars from the 70s have put on a great show. So John Grieve wins it overall. Beat goes to Corin Lindenberg in the Capri. C to Henny Groenewald and Carl Pino. D to Colin Ellison. And fifth overall, despite that break, index of performance to Sean Pearce. The man behind the Kyalami 9-hour revival meeting is Michael Lupin. He's also the publisher of Classic Car Africa. What a success it's been, Michael.
Beyond all expectation, Roger. It's a dream come true.
And the nice thing about it, not only are we seeing cars from 1961, the original, but we're seeing a lot of people have come back to Kyalami to watch it who've come from that era.
Well, that's the whole point, Roger. The 9-hour was probably the greatest piece of South African motorsport history besides the Grand Prix and so on the car. And we can relive it. A lot of the cars are racing these days in historic racing. Everyone does 8-lap races and little sprints. So we saw a gap. We had the festival going for 3 or 4 years. It didn't mean too much to many people. The 9-hour is a magic name. People know about it from history. And because of that, we decided, hang on a second, let's change this race. Let's harness our history and make it go forward. And next year being the 50th year anniversary of the 9-hour, we said, let's do this year as a dry run and see what happens. And there you go.
All this action of this 9-hour revival meeting at Kyalami is brought to you by Classic Car Africa magazine, Champion Spark Plugs and its associate sponsors. Next week on Rapid Motion Africa, the big boys of this Classic Car Africa 9-hour revival meeting at Kyalami, the pre-1988 cars with some magnificent racing.